what's on my mind this morning is being selfless with my grief. I had an experience yesterday where I realized that I've been being very selfish with my grieving process. And how that plays out is I go for a hike with a friend of mine yesterday who I haven't seen in a while, and kind of a new friend. And we're walking in this gorgeous landscape in Tennessee, and we're having this lovely conversation, and in every response in this lovely conversation, mine is in and around grief. And I was thinking to myself, holy shit, Valarie, you are being so selfish with this conversation because you keep swinging it back to the grief. And while these words were coming out of my mouth, I was like, just stop talking, stop. Engage in this conversation that's casual, and connect yourself with it and have this experience now, instead of constantly thinking about grief. And I realized in that moment, oh my God, I might not be capable of having being rude, a casual conversation. And I realized that I can be very selfish with this experience that I'm having, because, I'm having this deep experience. So the little judgy person in me is kind of going, well, that's not a deep conversation, or that might not be important, but it is important. It's all important to engage and experience. And when you're having an experience that doesn't feel good and you want to bail, or a conversation that truly doesn't feel good. But I want to take this friendship that I'm developing with grief and have a more balanced relationship with it. Because yesterday I really blew a really cool moment to, well, maybe not, because I learned something. I learned that I am being selfish. So I want to take grief and just move it over there. Grief can stay over there for like 5 minutes or an hour while I hike and have a casual conversation with a sweet person. So being selfless with your grief. And that is something actually that the first year my son channeled in and I started receiving messages, he sent me that message. He was like, Mama, be selfless with your grief. And I couldn't figure out what he meant for the longest time. And yesterday I feel like I aligned with what he meant in at least one way, because I'm sure these gifts will keep coming in, and I will learn from them. So be selfless with your grief and give yourself permission to be okay in a casual conversation. It doesn't always have to be about grief. Grief is selfish sometimes. So take it and move it over there and give yourself permission to have a human experience without the heaviness and the weight of grief. It's not so easy when it's so consuming and has consumed your world, and you're wrestling with it and trying to get your head around it. And it's our walk with grief, for those that have lost kids and have had impactful loss. That walk lasts forever, and then eventually we cross over. And with the time that we have, I think one of the biggest things that I'm trying to do is really have a quality human experience and feel the pain, but also feel the levity too. So that's it.